Folks, Bob's back after this major strike. Quite impressive, right? Deep down and finally opened up Punjab. Of course, it's a double-edged sword because once you opened up the international border in Punjab, even though we feel that the retaliation, which is what it seems by most international accords is coming, right? International thought process analysts, what the Pakistanis are saying, really does open up uh, this side of for targeting. Though, like everybody says, what is the equivalent target to these terror points that we, and they were quite impressive. Mordike, Babalpur, right? Precise. Shows the technical capability of our air force and our armed forces and our navy. But the dubious part at this point of time, which is a cover up. Is it a cover up or not? Because most international media seems to be at least saying for or certainty that two planes have been brought down in India. How they came down, nobody knows. And there's a CNN quoting some French intelligence agency agent suggesting that at least one Rafale has come down. So that's the real downside for this all, right? And did we actually land a punch that is a strategic deterrent? That's the key, as General Panag said. Till you do that, this asymmetrical warfare actually costs a lot for the person conducting it, like us or like the United States, right? The kind of missiles that are used for targets, and if the targets don't really have that kind of value, you spend a lot of money, especially if you've lost two aircraft, right? That's 40-50 million down the drain, right? Or a couple of $100 million down the drain, right? It's kind of a tough one at this, right? Whether this is really worth it. But hey, a message, it will be really worth it if it is deterrent and Pakistan does not retaliate. Pakistan seems to be building a case that as far as their retaliation was concerned, it's ongoing and it includes the 5 aircraft that went down. There's no proof of that, okay, right? But the West and everybody else is on the balance not really naming, shaming Pakistan. As Seema Sohi writes, as India mulls a more complete response against Pakistan for its involvement in the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, the overall message from the US, Europe, Russia is to urge restraint and avoid a regional conflagration. The similarity of advice and language is noticeable, and a certain amount of coordination seems to be obvious when Marco Rubio, EU's Kaja Kallas, and Sergei Lavrov say and do the same thing in varying degrees. Essentially equate India and Pakistan, victim and perpetrator, refuse to call Pakistan for its long terror-infested history, don't school its spokesman for openly issuing nuclear threats and advocate dialogue. You know that New Delhi has an uphill climb, and it will continue to do so, right? Because we also have to provide proof. That's the critical part, right? We didn't provide proof after Pulwama. We are not providing proof after this either, right? Except some testimonies. And this is, just remember, right now, while we've done all this, right, it almost seems that the events have to happen and we love to deliver a message. But what about preventing? What happened to our intelligence? What happened to our security network? And what happened to these 3 terrorists, right? I want to point this out to you. We got Sindoor for whatever it stands for, but where are these 3 terrorists who actually shot these people, right? Where they were shot is 180 to 200 kilometers from the LOC. So did they come in without being noticed, and they've gone back without being noticed? Or are they hiding in Kashmir? Somebody pray tell us, right? The UNSC closed-door consultation on Monday to discuss rising India-Pakistan tensions requested by Islamabad may not have resulted in any statement, but envoys calling for de-escalation between the two countries bore no real gains for New Delhi, as is being claimed by many Indian voices, okay? And why that's happening is because what T.S. Tirumurthy writes, the fragmentation in the global fight against terror. Gone are the days of a united fight against and zero tolerance to terror. A different yardstick applies when it comes to India, which is a victim of state-sponsored terror, right? This time its campaign should go beyond the UN, where select Indian missions would take up the issue bilaterally with their host countries. They're doing so. but they are really having no luck in naming Pakistan. Important part, right? Rajnath, under Modi, you'll get the Pahalgam hit pack you want. We've got these hit packs under some other governments too. So for him to say this, really cuts no ice. India cuts off water flow to Pak from crucial dam. Now, why I've got this up is because at this time, the water flow is on the Jhelum and Chenab is anyway at a very minimal level, right? So, whether our dams did that or whether it was a natural part of the climate change at this time, nobody knows, right? India makes Chenab run dry for now. Well, that's good headline for India, right? But for surprising the same day, the Hindu writes, post-Indus Treaty hold, India resorts to untimely release of water from J&K dams on Chenab River. So, which one is right? I don't know. Iran foreign minister to visit Pakistan, India this week. This is very interesting because what's happening between the United States, the Houthis, and Iran and Israel is another massive play that's happening in the Middle East. The United States, Trump desperately wants to do a deal with Iran, right? As a result, they've unilaterally basically says that we've had an agreement with the Houthis. Houthis are going to stop troubling the ships in the Red Sea, and we are now going to stop bombing. But at the same time, Israel goes and bombs Yemen's airport, right? Need partners, not preachers. Jay Shankar hits out at Europe. Well, that's a funny thing. Europe is never going to toe the line, really. And I don't know what he means, really, by preachers, right? Because we tend to be the biggest preachers of them all, right? PM speaks to Amir of Qatar as India steps up outreach. Pakistan blames India for blast that killed 7 soldiers, and this is in Balochistan. So Pakistan is going to go ahead and keep doing this. Apparently, there's a bomb blast at the airport in Lahore, and that also is going to be put on around our neck, right? And the funny thing is, the greatest timing when this attacks happened. It's just the night before this happens. Milestone for India, UK. FTA opens up bilateral trade tariff area with the UK the night before, right? 1 o'clock was the strike, and just that day, this agreement was signed just before that. And at the same time, on whatever Twitter handle that Trump uses, he was also going on about this great deal that he's done with India, and everything is going to be 0%. So was this a buyout, right? And this is what today's headline says. India strikes deep. Payback for Pahalgam. And then India embarks on diplomatic blitz. India on high alert on land, air and sea. Now this is the problem, right? Families start evacuating women, kids and elderly from villages bordering Pakistan. So those are the people that are really affected. The farmer. Think about them, right? This is the other thing that's happening, right? Army soldier among 13 killed in Pakistan Friday. Right. What is the... So, right, 9 strikes, 1 message. In planning and execution, Op Sindoor was flawless. It's also a warning to those in Pakistan considering escalation, right? Is it a warning? That's the real McCoy, right? No good options. This is why everybody in India thinks that we've done it, right? Is this. No good options for Pak to hit back. The strikes are a body blow for Pakistan military ISI terror nexus, and the world now sympathizes with India. I don't agree with sympathizes with India, but not against Pakistan, right? The strikes also have an important psychological impact. For decades, these two camps have been the epicenter of Pakistan's terrorism directed against India. In the past, India has always hesitated against taking action against them. This time, however, the Indian armed forces have attacked them and degraded their ability to carry out their nefarious designs. This marks a huge strategic shift in India's counter-terror response. Now, the problem, though, is what BBC and all are being taken to all these sites that were hit, whether it's Mudke and Bahawalpur. You are not really seeing any destruction of infrastructure, terror infrastructure. We are saying 70 terrorists dead, but I'm going to ask all sensible people, how do we know? We don't have anybody there doing a body count, right? We just have we're just throwing a number, right? Given the blows Pakistan has just suffered, the generals in Rawalpindi, GHQ and the deep state will be under pressure to respond. Absolutely. This is also why few buy Pakistan's denial of state involvement in the terror industry flourishing in Pakistan. So, well, I think if they had not bought it, why would they be off the FATF grey list is what I asked this gentleman, right? India's hammer blow. What it means, what next? Clear signal of new strategic resolve. This is Arjun Subramaniam, is an Air Force guy, Saeed Atta Hasnain, General, right? Air Vice Marshal and Lieutenant General. Intel inputs plus smart weapon prove a winner. Vulnerability of Pak-based terror leadership established. LOC will be hot zone. Pak may attempt a post-Balakot-like response, but Indian air defense systems now are far better. Now this will be surely tested. Finally, what India's strategic establishment must heed loud and clear is the credible hard power to respond to external threats is a non-negotiable instrument of statecraft. The current crisis deals with an adversary dwarfed in size and capability. That the same is not true elsewhere, but that's finger pointing to China. But here's the thing, right? We have to also up our intelligence, right? We can't let these events continue to happen, right? Amid India-Pak tension, Air Force Chief meets PM, so you now know why. IAF alert, Rafael ready for swift strikes as tensions soar. And here is the thing which is now, we are also not really being able to prove this, right? Except tight-lipped, right? Downed 5 jets, says Pakistan, but gives no proof. That's the important part. We got to figure this out because CNN is confirming sources from France. The Bathinda is an eyewitness account. Who's right? Who's wrong? In these days of disinformation, who knows, right? China question facing India after Pahalgam. Since the abrogation of Article 370, the border issue between India and China has been in constant focus. In 2020, tensions rose following Beijing's bid to unilaterally alter the LAC, right? And they haven't changed, right? Second, with India's attention now focused on western border with Pakistan, China could exploit the situation to extract a better deal and terms of engagement along the LAC. Third, China would be hoping that relations between India and Pakistan deteriorate since any conflagration may leave India's military firepower depleted. This will further give it leverage in LAC talks. Interesting. And economic weakness, in turn, a Chinese general has appraised Pakistan's value in its scheme of things as China's Israel. How important is that, right? The big question is, will Beijing have the bandwidth to come to Islamabad's aid at a time when it is bearing the brunt of Trump's tariffs? So that's very important for India, right? India's China relations at 75, uncertain thaw. Despite the recent positive overtures, structural problems in the bilateral relationship could resurface as a source of tension. Quite 100% right. Send terror packing, as written by both Ashok Malik and Aditya Sondhi. India's calibrated strike hits the jihadi juggler, sending the Pakistani army an unambiguous message. For now, India has called General Munir's bluff, and as the case with Pakistan at key moments in its history, it is the generals that call the shots, and this one is unlikely to go down without a fight. Now, that's the important message. And are defenses capable? Because they are going to hang. We're all going to be hanging at this point of time, especially Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, waiting for the strike. It's not, in my view, it's not going to happen in Kashmir. It's going to happen in the international border. So we better be ready. And especially when we have this. Less to spend, India buys less of daily needs. So our economy is really not thriving. And as Prashant Jha writes, India's American-China-Pakistani test of balance. New Delhi is exhibiting maximum flexibility with DC, restoring normalcy with limits with Beijing, and preparing for an aggressive posture with Rawalpindi. He says at one level for New Delhi, this was an easy decision that's going with the US, given India's technological needs, security challenges, employment creation imperatives, popular sentiment, diaspora interest, and aspirations for great power status. Deepening ties with the US is logical and obvious for all those people who think that we should go the Russian way, right? He said. Second, decisions appear to be to normalize ties with Beijing within limits. Well, okay. Modi's third decision after Pahalgam is to identify, track and punish the terrorists and their packers responsible for the terror attack, a path that will inevitably lead to Pakistan. but how India finds the right balance between imposing costs, establishing deterrence, and satisfying domestic political opinion without its action leading to escalation, eroding India's reputation as a responsible power, and dragging New Delhi back into hypernated morasses with Rawalpindi is the key test. But let me tell you folks, in all global TV channels, CNN, French, German, BBC, Sky, that hyphenation has already happened. Both are being described as nuclear powers. Both are being are being taken together. That hyphenation is back in play. Now, the real test is to see whether, like I said, all this would be, be of very little use if it does not act as a deterrence. That's the critical part. 3 cheers and Jai Hind, and we really have to find out. We find these 3 guys, these 3 people, like we got up Kasab and nailed them. They are the ones who actually carried out this heinous act. 3 cheers and Jai Hind.